What's up, everybody? Yeah, it's part 2 of this massively huge DVD/Blu-ray update. Yeah, so we are going to get into the DVDs now. Alrighty, so we got quite a few to get through here. And yeah, I think I'm going to start with like the 2014 stuff that I've picked up. First up here is one that I have not seen yet, and most of the stuff I actually have seen. I just got this in the mail right before I was doing this update, along with the Halloween box set, and that is Found. I'm probably gonna watch this right after we after I do this update. So yeah, I've heard really good things about this, and yeah, really looking forward to checking this out. So gonna be awesome, I hope. Next up is a film called Worm. Released by Synapse Films. This is a really fucking bizarre film about people that put worms into their ear because in the future they can't dream. So this company's invented this this thing called fantasites, and you buy these worms in these little containers and you put them into your ears, and then they're deemed unhealthy, so like the society bans them, and then people become like junkies and shit. Pretty fucking intriguing film. I really enjoyed this. Highly recommend this, man. Definitely check this out from Synapse Films. Awesome release. Couldn't recommend it enough. Pretty interesting. If I had to say anything about it, if you took Antiviral and Requiem for a Dream, mash them together, you get Worm. That's how I can explain it. Next up is a IFC release, but in Canada, it was released under Anchor Bay, and that is Blood Glacier. Basically about it's kind of like, it's almost like the Thing ripoff, in a way, about this, kind of like this blood parasite thing that is, you know, kind of seeping out of this, this glacier, and what it's doing, it's actually, like, it's making things kind of procreate with each other and stuff. It's a fucking actually pretty interesting idea. I really enjoyed it, though. I thought it was actually quite good. You know, with a title like Blood Glacier, even that cover, you're just like, okay, whatever. But it's got a pretty interesting premise to it, I have to say. I really enjoyed it, actually. Practical effects and whatnot and stuff, so pretty cool stuff. I enjoyed it. Next up is the third installment in the Joyride series, and that's Joyride 3 Roadkill. And I've heard some people say they didn't really like this film, but fuck, was it ever entertaining. Some pretty good kills. Yeah, man, I don't know what else to say, man. I really like Rusty Nails, the killer, man. He's fucking cool. You know, it's not a great film by any means, but it's just entertainment, and just like the other films, in my opinion. But I had a fun time with Roadkill, Joyride 3. I thought it was pretty fun, especially the one kill with the girl on the truck. Fuck, that shit made me laugh, man. Next up here is the new Scarlett Johansson film. One of the new Scarlett Johansson films. That's getting a lot of interesting reviews and stuff, and that is Under the Skin. This is a really fucking bizarre film, basically about an alien that comes down to Earth, steals the skin of this body, and goes around kind of luring men into like this really kind of like hypnotic type Realm 3 world. It's really fucking twisted and weird. I thought the interesting thing about some of the scenes in the film where Scarlett Johansson's character is talking to like guys out in the streets and stuff was all unscripted. These guys didn't even know that there was cameras in these vehicles and whatnot and shit. I thought that was pretty interesting filming. And her accent I thought was really well done too. And of course she gets fully naked in this film. Full frontal, everything. But besides that, no, she does a good job. I think this is a really daring role by her, and I think she pulled it off, quite well. So, what can I say, man? I really enjoyed this movie. It was fucking awesome. My wife had no fucking idea what was going on in the movie, and then like 5 minutes before the end, she read the back, and she's like, "Oh, okay." It was just funny. Anyways, next up here is 2014 release, of course. That it's been getting so many good reviews from everybody. Finally got my hands on this. Probably paid too much for it. I mean, you know, it came out to close to $30 because of the shipping, which is just brutal. But, you know, in my opinion, it was worth it. It was really fucking awesome. And that is Pieces of Talent. I know a lot of people have been reviewing this one. Watched it a couple nights ago. Really enjoyed this film, man. Great fucking acting in it, man. The lead actress in this did a great job. The killer was awesome. awkwardly awesome. It's basically about this girl that's kind of down on her luck. She works in a strip club, kind of hates her life. Her mom lives with her. Her mom's kind of a scumbag. She wants to be an actress in Hollywood. She meets this guy that, you know, that is claiming to be a director and that's working on a bunch of stuff and whatnot. They become friends and whatnot and stuff like that. And, you know, he's basically kind of doing like almost snuff films in a way. He's kidnapping people, filming them, doing a whole pile of weird ass shit and stuff. But you know, my description might not make it sound too great, but this is really fucking executed awesomely. The structure was really well done. I love the ending of the film, was brilliant. And yeah, and that's all I'll say about that. Pieces of talent, check this out. It's fucking awesome, man. Really, really great film. That was recommended to me by my man Tom, also known as Horswall. Best channel on YouTube. Check him out. Next up is I can't remember if this is actually Canadian. I think this actually is a Canadian film, but I'm not 100% sure. I might be wrong on that. Just kind of slipped my mind. But it's from a Canadian distribution company anyways. It's called In the House of Flies. This one is about two people that get kidnapped, kind of drugged and kidnapped while they're at a drive-in. And they wake up in this kind of this underground bunker type deal with a phone. And all of a sudden it starts ringing, and this person that kidnapped him is talking to him, making him do shit and stuff. So it's kind of one of those contained horror films where, you know, it kind of takes place in all one type setting. I really enjoyed this. I thought this was fantastic, to be honest. I really enjoyed it. I didn't really know what to expect from it, but yeah, it just won a lot of awards and shit like that. So, or nominations, and been a lot of festivals. But this was good. I really enjoyed this, from Black Fawn Distribution. Really doing a good job with the releases. So check them out. Oh my god. Next up is another 2014 release from Vicious Circle Films, Breaking Glass Pictures. Holy fuck, man. I finally got this in the mail, and I was like, okay, this was recommended to me from my boy Danny, DJ Boy 3275, and wow, this is crazy. This is an Australian flick called Daddy's Little Girl. This one is about single father. Well, he's divorced from his wife and whatnot, and he's got this little 6-year-old girl. And one day he basically takes her back to the mom's house for the week or whatever. I think he just has the daughter on weekends. Anyways, he was complaining to the wife about her window being broken and whatnot and shit. And basically what happens is his daughter gets kidnapped and raped and murdered, and they find her on a beach the next day. Then he basically devotes his life to figuring out who the fuck did this. He finds out who has done this, and he basically kidnaps that person and fucking tortures the living shit out of them. The torture in this was fucking brutal. Really, really well done. Like, really good practical effects. Just, it was so nasty the way it was done. And it's kind of shocking on who it is in the film. You know, you find out really early who it is, but it's just, based on who it is, it's really hard, you know, to kind of absorb and stuff. And it's just really good film, really fucking awesome. I love this movie. One of the best. I was gonna say one of the best albums of 2014. One of the best flicks of 2014, in my opinion. Check this out, Daddy's Little Girl. Awesome stuff, along with Pieces of Talent. Fucking amazing films. Another 2014 release that I actually haven't gotten around to watch this one yet. It's still actually sealed, and that is Rigor Mortis. I've heard mixed reviews on this one, good and bad, some shoddy CGI and whatnot and stuff. I haven't checked it out just due to time. I mean, I've checked out most of the stuff in here. It's just one film I just haven't got around to, but I think it does look pretty interesting. So I'm going to be checking that one out soon. Rigor Mortis. Another film from 2014 released by Anchor Bay, and that is Death Do Us Part. Fuck. This one is about a couple that's getting married. They head out to this, you know, cabin in the forest. They rent this place with their groomsmen and the groomsmen and, you know, maid of honor and all those people, and they're having like a last party type deal and stuff like that. And yeah, so people start getting picked off one by one. Not going to get into these plots, you know, too deep and stuff. I talked about this one on a podcast, I think, last week. This movie was fucking generic as hell. Really, really generic. Super, super fucking bad. The kills were lackluster. I picked out who the killer was in the first 20 minutes of the film. I even picked out almost every single scene throughout the film. The ending was predictable. I even called everything in there. Oh, man, this is just how you don't make films today. This is really bad. Really not good. Next up is another film released by Anchor Bay. And this one, I remember seeing Mr. Parker do a review for it, and I was like, I have to fucking check this out. And that is Septic Man. Basically about a guy that goes down into this septic area to figure out what the fuck is going on, why all the water is contaminated in the city, and there's kind of like an outbreak, everyone's basically been evacuated from the city because there's no water available. So this guy, he goes down there to figure out what the fuck's going on. He figures out what's going on. There's some bodies down there and shit, and kind of goes from there. And he kind of goes through this transformation because he's in this toxic area and shit. I've heard some people kind of compare it to the Toxic Avenger, but it's nothing like the Toxic Avenger at all. I love this movie. It was fantastic. His transformation and the effects that they used on this guy look fantastic. It's just really grotesque. It's fucking nasty. There's lots of puking in this film and really, really, really gross parts, like nasty fucking parts. I hate puking. It's one thing that I just cannot stand. I'll never get used to it. But Septic Man, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's great stuff. Next up is an IFC release down in the US. In Canada, they're released under the Mongrel label, and that is The Den. This is fucking really, really good. One of my favorites of this year, too. I really enjoyed this movie. It was fantastic. About a girl that gets this grant from her school to do this online study about social media and stuff like that. And this one site in particular that it's kind of like chat roulette in a way. She's just kind of just doing what she's doing. She's just on there talking to people. Comes across this one person. He shows a clip of like this girl getting murdered. She thinks it's real. Kind of goes from there, and then it just escalates. This was really well done. I loved the ending. The very end shot in this film was really fucking, like, it had me thinking for days. I was like, wow, that's really fucking brutal. But really good stuff, though. Check out The Den. I loved it. Really awesome film. Next up is another Anchor Bay release, and that is Cabin Fever 3 or Patient Zero. This one is basically your kind of run-of-the-mill cabin fever film. Sean Astin plays Patient Zero. He's basically been exposed to the virus, but he's not showing any symptoms of the flesh-eating virus. So they've got him kind of segregated on this island, and this doctor's doing tests on him. Meanwhile, you got a couple couples that are, out in the Caribbean, and they this couple's went there to get married. They go to the secluded island to have like this kind of bachelor party, and there's a girl there, of course, and stuff. Anyways, they get exposed to it. They find this this area, and then shit just kind of escalates from there. Yeah, I actually really did enjoy it. I thought it was entertaining. It's not a good film by any means, but just for entertainment value, there's one scene, this one sex scene that just turns real bloody. It's fucking gross. It actually made me gag a little bit. But I don't know. It is what it is, man. Make your own judgments on it. I know some people aren't taking it. I can see why, but... next up is a found footage film by Bob Goldthwait, and it's a Bigfoot film. It's Willow Creek. I talked about this one on the podcast, like many of these other films too. This one has its moments. It's kind of Blair Witchy at times, almost a little too much, I think. But it just falls short. It falls short. The ending is kind of predictable. It doesn't really do a lot for the viewer and stuff. So it just falls short again. But it's not bad by any means. It's just, you just want more, and that's too bad. Because, I mean, there's some really damn creepy parts in this film with, especially in the, while they're trapped in this tent, and they're hearing all these sounds around them and shit, and it's like a really fucking long scene, too. I swear it's like 10-15 minutes long of just, like, staring at them, and you're just kind of waiting and waiting and waiting, and, like, I don't know, man. I thought it was actually quite well done. You gotta be patient while you're watching it a little bit, so. Next up is a film that I also heard Horseball talk about briefly, and it piqued my interest. Because generally, if I saw a movie like this at Walmart, I'd probably pass by. It just does not really look that good, and it's called Crawl or Die, and it's basically set in this like. I think it's kind of set in this post-apocalyptic type world type deal. And it's basically about this girl basically what's happened is all the females in the world have been deemed that they cannot conceive children anymore, except for there's this one girl out there. Anyways, there's this this elite team, this elite task force that has to go find this girl and bring her out to bring her to safety and whatnot and stuff, and led by this chick right here. Anyways, but the thing is, she's down in like these tunnels, like underground and stuff. She's like very hidden, and the thing is, there's like this real fucking crazy ass monster thing down there that they have to avoid and stuff. This has to be like one of the most claustrophobic films I've ever fucking seen. This was really well done for the budget, $7,000. It does not look like a $7,000 film. It's really well done. It's really well executed. The lead actress went through shit in this film. Really, man, it was fucking nuts what she did. But I really enjoyed this, man. It's just, it has that, oh man, crazy feeling. It's just, the walls are coming in on you constantly and shit like that. It's really good, like surprisingly really good. So check out Crawl or Die. Next up is Last Days on Mars, starring Liev Schreiber. This one is basically set on Mars about this crew that is ready. They're set to go home the next day, last day of their mission, and they come across one of the crew members finds potential evidence of alien, life up on this planet. So they start to investigate. Dude falls down this fucking hole. Kind of gets contaminated or whatever. Kind of turns into like, it's like a contamination, maybe almost like zombie type film. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's a really cool premise, man. I really enjoyed this. Check this out. Awesome film. Next up is a film that I believe Mr. Parker actually reviewed also. And this one right here I thought for sure was going to be a run-of-the-mill type slasher type film. Midnight Releasing released this, and it's Blood Widow. About these people that go out to this property basically to go have a party and shit like that. Right next door, there's like abandoned school there, and it's abandoned because there was a huge slaughter there years and years ago. And this person right here was the lone survivor apparently, and has just never left the building. It's always been there. Anyways, during the party, of course, the people make their way over to this school where they start getting picked off one by one. I know, sounds very generic, but fuck, it was pretty good, man. Body count pretty high, some really good kills, and the ending fucking rocked in this. The ending was so good. It was just surprising and shocking. I don't know, man. I really did enjoy it. I liked the look of the killer. I thought, she was fucking pretty badass and stuff, so I would definitely give this one a shot. You can pick it up at Walmart for dirt cheap, so give it a shot if you like those type of films, but if you don't, stay away. Next up is another release by, I think Phase 4 did this one, starring Catherine Isabelle, and it's called Torment. I'm really surprised that her name isn't on the cover of this, because I didn't even know when I picked it up. I turned it around and I saw her face on the back, and I was like, Catherine Isabelle, sold me right there. But it's another home invasion film about Catherine Isabelle plays a stepmother. This guy has a son and stuff, and the son fucking hates her. It's their first trip out to like their getaway house and whatnot. Soon after arriving there, they soon realize that their house has been broken into. Like, people have been kind of living there. There's rotten food everywhere. It's kind of a mess in certain areas and stuff. So anyways, they call up the police. They make a report and stuff, and they say, well, there's nothing they can really do and stuff like that. So, they go back to kind of doing their own thing. And of course, these people do come back, start tormenting them. It's a really nasty scene in this film where they make, the father say some shit to the kid. It's just brutal to watch. Overall, kind of generic a little bit. It doesn't really bring a lot to the, the home invasion subgenre, but the problem is the ending was very predictable in this, but, it's definitely worth the watch. Catherine Isabelle does a great job. I think, actually, all the acting in this film was pretty well done, so, but yeah, Torment. Next up is fucking weird-ass movie called Escape from Tomorrow. I know a lot of people have seen this one. It's about this guy that's just lost his job. He hasn't told his family yet, so he decides to take him on this, a trip to Disneyland. It's filmed in black and white, which is really cool. And basically what happens is he starts, like, seeing and having fucking crazy visions, like, all these evil shit keeps happening all over the place and stuff. And it just kind of escalates from there, like all these weird scenes and shit. It's really, I really enjoyed it, man. I thought it was great. The ending's fucked up, too. Really kind of out of left field type deal. But I really enjoyed it, though. I some of the scenes in it, just seeing how they, that they really film this, you know, unjustly too. I don't think they had permits to film in Disneyland and Disney World, wherever they did it. Maybe both places, but yeah, this was good. This was really entertaining. Just different, really different type film. Next up is a film that I haven't opened yet, but I have watched. I actually watched this on Netflix, and that is All Cheerleaders Die. So I decided to pick up a copy. I really enjoyed this movie. I know a lot of people didn't really care for it that much, but you know, I like the kind of the over top characters in this film because I think it kind of works for it. Basically about this cheerleading squad that is essentially killed by the football team, run off the road. They're killed. The cheerleading squad has a friend that's a witch. Has these weird type rocks and stuff. Brings back the cheerleading squad, and they kind of turn into like vampire zombies. They're brought back from the dead, but they're not rotting or anything. But they feed on blood and stuff. Very tongue in cheek. Some pretty interesting scenes in this. I actually really enjoyed it, man. The fucking guy, the football captain in this film is just, fuck, you hate him so much. You hate him so much. And the character annoyed me though because everybody was like licking his balls throughout the whole film. Every time he said something, they're just like bowing down to him. And I'm just like, there's no way that the football captain has that much power over his teammates. But otherwise, I don't know, man. It was good. You know, hot chicks, some pretty interesting kills and stuff. I don't know. It was just a fun film. For me, anyways. I kind of enjoyed it. I know some people didn't really care for it, but let's see how much time we got here. Next up here is another fucking slasher film picked up at Walmart. Hazmat, of course, with the most generic fucking cover ever. Yeah, this one is about this group of people that decide to take their friend on this kind of like a gag show. It's like a punk show. What they do is they do these like really intense gags on people. Anyways, this guy right here has been having a lot of mental issues since his father died. His father used to work at this factory that they set up this gag in. It's like some type of chemical plant or something like that. Anyways, he soon figures out that, you know, something's not right and that he's basically being punked. Goes apeshit and starts killing people one by one. The thing that really fucking kills this film is that it's pretty generic. You know, he's got it. They somehow left an axe in the building. Fuck. I just don't. It's just bad screenwriting. But you know, all the kills are the same. But the acting in this film is it's so much torture. Oh fuck. The dialogue's bad too. Just really not good, man. Really not good. Next up here is, I think this is the last for the 2014s. I have not watched this yet, and that is the Marked Ones, Paranormal Activity. There's a reason why I picked this up, because we are going to be doing these on the podcast. So I grabbed that one, so I believe that's the unofficial Part 5. Then I picked up Part 4, which was only $5 at Walmart or something like that. So Part 4, I've never seen these. And then I picked up the box set, which contains Part 1, 2, and 3. Part 2 and 3 are supposed to be the unrated cuts, but Part 3 is not in here for some reason. I don't really care. I'll just watch the theatrical versions anyways. I don't really think there's a whole lot of difference, but yeah. Anyways, we'll be covering these. That's why I picked up all the paranormal films. I've only ever seen the first one, and I didn't really care for it. I don't know what it was about it. It just bugged me. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm not really into these type of movies, but gonna have to get through them sooner or later. So it is what it is, right? Yeah. Alright, got about 5 minutes left in this video, or before I have to do an edit. Next up here, I got a few Ghost House films I picked up. First one here is Stag Night. Basically about a stag party. They start harassing this one girl on a train. She pepper sprays them. They kind of get let out at this unknown stop in New York City. It's like this. It's not really a stop. They kind of pry the doors open. Anyways, they don't know, of course, that there's cannibals down there, and it's them against the cannibals now. This actually was pretty fucking good, man. I really enjoyed it. I liked the look of the cannibals. Pretty good practical effects. It was surprisingly good. I didn't really know what to expect from it. I thought it was just going to be real fucking low budget shit, but yeah, it was actually not bad. Definitely give this one a shot. These Ghost House films can be very hit and miss, and that's one of the better ones, in my opinion. Next up is a film called Dark Floors. This is your film that's set in a hospital. I can't exactly remember the full story, but I know this movie has Lordi in it. Lordi, the metal band, plays like all the characters and shit in this film. It's pretty interesting. Something about something to do with this little boy. I can't remember the fucking story in this now. But anyways, all of a sudden the hospital is just empty, and then a whole pile of crazy shit is going on. They can't get out of the hospital, and all the Lordi characters start showing up and shit like that. To be honest, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad until the end. The end of the movie really brought this movie down. It was just a really shitty ending to it, and I was like, come on. Ruined it, but yeah. Next up here is The Substitute. Now, this is a pretty weird, interesting film. I watched this like 6 weeks ago, actually, so I'm trying to remember these storylines, sorry. The Substitute is basically an alien that comes down to Earth and invades this body, which she's a teacher, and what she's doing is she takes over teaching this class and whatnot, and she basically is looking for aliens from her planet don't know how to love. So I think that she's trying to teach them certain things, but in return she's trying to get, how you love back from them and stuff. It's a really weird type premise for a film. I'm not even 100% sure why this movie is rated R. There's like no blood or gore. There's really nothing that bad about it. It almost feels like a kid's film, to be honest. But it was intriguing. It was very intriguing. I kind of liked it, actually. Next up here is a film called Room 205. This is another one of those dorm films that's, supernatural type dorm slasher film. It was kind of your run-of-the-mill type supernatural film. I wasn't really feeling this one a whole lot. It did have its, it even says on the cover, a fast-paced supernatural teen slasher. It's exactly what it is, except for it's set in college. I don't know. This one had its moments, but I can't remember where this movie's from. It's foreign. So I guess it could be Canadian, right, guys? No. I don't know. It was okay. Again, with the ending of this movie, man, it was just, whatever. But, so, I got a couple minutes left here. Next up here is an IFC film that I've been after for a long time. I heard really good things about this, and that is Mutants. This is a really fucking great type infection type zombie film. Really, really enjoyed this movie, man. It was great. I don't really want to get too much in the storyline, but definitely check this out, man. It was really good IFC release. Really good stuff. And then last up, before I got to do an edit here, is another IFC release, and that is of The Pact. I thought this was actually pretty good. Not bad, girl's mom dies. She phones her sister up, tells her that she needs to come and help with the arrangements and stuff. Shows up at the house, and her sister's disappeared. Now she needs to find out what the fuck's going on. All this paranormal, supernatural shit's happening in the house. But then there's more to it than that. It kind of escalates from there and stuff. This was actually quite good. I know there's a sequel that's, I think, already done or coming out right now, or it's already out, that I need to check out because that's pretty fucking interesting that there's a sequel to this. So, The Pact, I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was pretty good. So, I'm going to do an edit here, come back with some more films. Yeah.
Body bags where horror lies.
I am back. So after that little edit, I had to let the camera recharge. Yeah. Now I need to recharge my batteries with a beer, of course. Man, I think this has to be the longest update ever. This taken me like 3 hours to record. Alright, so let's get right into this. I want to finish this. Okay. So next up here is a film called Pieta, I think. I think it's a Korean film. I want to say it's a Korean film. Fuck, my case is broken. It's annoying me. I actually haven't got around to watching this one yet. Looks kind of like a slasher type psychological little psychological type film, but looks kind of cool though. Looks intriguing, so I've actually heard good things about that. So next up here is finally got my hands on this. This is the 5-disc version of Dust Devil. This shit is amazing. This is such an amazing edition. It's got your 4 discs right there. Comes with the final cut, the work print, 3 documentaries, and of course it also comes with your soundtrack right there, and these awesome booklets. It's got the Dust Devil booklet. It's got this comic in here, and it's got stuff on the director's documentaries that he did. So this edition is just amazing. I watched this film last night. It's fucking so bizarre. Such a bizarre film. Really fucking cool. The thing was, they actually sent me this edition first, which is actually the cut version of the film, or like supposed to be the theatrical version or whatever. Never did have one, I don't think. But so it's kind of cool that they sent me this, you know, of course, for their fuck up. But I ended up getting all the versions of the film, so that worked out pretty good. Of Dust Devil. If you've never seen Dust Devil, check this shit out, man. It's fucking such a weird, quirky film from the early 90s. Very, very underrated. Next up here is the very first release from, what is the name of the company? Beast Mode Movies. So they released Drive-In Massacre. This is limited to 25. I got number 24 here. I know my boy Adrian Lostwich, he did the cover for this. I believe this is signed by, I think I want to say the director, and I'm not sure who else is signed by. Also came with this right here. This popcorn thing. Also number 2425. And I believe everyone that bought this got entered in to win the limited VHS for this too, that there's only one copy of it. So pretty cool. I've actually not got around to watching this edition yet, but cool stuff. Very, very happy to have that. Another really cool addition to the collection. Next up here is a film I haven't watched in actually a long time. I've seen it before. Uwe Boll's probably my favorite film by him. I can't even say that I've really actually enjoyed too many of his films, but this one, Rampage, is fucking batshit crazy. Really fucking awesome film. Everybody knows about this one, but yeah, good stuff, man. Really, really intense. Next up here is Warlock. This one's still sealed. I haven't watched this copy. I've seen this movie before. I used to own the VHS of it, actually. It's the first time I've owned it on DVD, but Julian Sands' Warlock, which is like a male witch. I can't even really remember the film that well. But yeah, so that's Warlock 1 right there. Picked up the sequel, Armageddon, and I'm still yet to find part 3. I just can't find it for the right price. I keep finding it for like $8, and I just don't want to pay $8 for it. So yeah, Armageddon, Warlock. Then I picked up a bunch of original Anchor Bay releases. Of course, I found this one for I think it was $1.20 or something. Found Rats, the original Anchor Bay release of it, so I've got multiple copies of Rats now. But every time I come across original Anchor Bay releases, I pick them up. Next up is a film called Slayer. This was like a TV film done in like the mid-2000s. This is fucking awful. This is a terrible film about like this new breed of vampires out in the jungle and shit. It's really fucking bad though. It just feels like a TV film, but in a bad way though. But original Anchor Bay. So grabbed it. Grabbed the original Anchor Bay release of Chud, which I actually used to have this DVD, and I have no idea what happened to it, so I ended up getting the Midnight Madness one, but found this for like $1, so picked up Chud. A non-horror film called The Dam Busters, which was released by Anchor Bay. I've yet to see this one. It's I believe it takes place in World War... Yeah, it's a World War II film, so... But I thought it was intriguing, original Anchor Bay, so... Yeah, thought I'd give it a shot. Then I've always wanted to see this film. Again, I remember seeing this back in the day, and I couldn't fucking remember it for like the life of me. But this was produced by John Carpenter, and it's called The Philadelphia Experiment. About that experiment that they're doing on this shit. They're trying to make it so it was like invisible to radar and stuff, and apparently it disappeared and shit. So many conspiracy theories on it and shit like that. But you know, it's kind of a cheesy film done in the early '80s. It's not really executed that great, but it was okay for what it was. But yeah, original Anchor Bay. And then fucking, this is one of the most wanted films I've I've had on a list to get forever. I couldn't find this for a right price. I finally found it for about $18 with the discount, 30% off. And I finally have this in my collection. I love this film. It's from 1982, I believe, or 83 or whatever. And it's Superstition. This is a great, like, supernatural slasher film about this witch that basically comes back and starts killing off these folks that are in this house and stuff. It got great kills, man. I really love this film, man. Superstition. Finally own it. Oh, I was so stoked. Came in like mint shape too. Mint shape. So I was glad to pay, a little price for it, but so happy to have that. And yeah, my man Glenn from the UK, he came through for me. He knew that I needed this for my 88 series, and that was the Unnameable, or whatever, however you want to pronounce it. And it's got part 2 in there too, which is really cool. Love this edition. It's got both movies on separate discs. UK original Anchor Bay release, out of print. Very, very cool, buddy. Thanks a lot. Thanks a million for sending me this. So yeah, totally fucking awesome. But yeah, picked up a bunch of, what was it, like 7 Anchor Bay releases, which is pretty cool. Still a couple that I really want to find for original Anchor Bays, but next up here is actually another non-horror film, and that is The Towering Inferno. I remember seeing this movie years ago. I haven't seen it in a long time. It's got a great cast. Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, tons of people in this film. It's a really great film, though. Next up is actually, I grabbed this because I'm a really big fan of John Candy, and I've never seen this movie. This is one that's always eluded me. I really don't even know what this is. And it's called Delirious. I don't know what it is. I just don't know this movie. So I grabbed it because, well, MGM. So, and I had to grab this because it was the only Broken Lizards film I didn't have. And that is the Slam and Salmon. Fucking rest in peace of Michael Clark Duncan. But fuck, he was funny in this film, man. Really funny stuff. Great premise. Loved it. Pretty funny shit. Alright, so getting back into the horror stuff here. A film from 2013 called Random Acts of Violence. Now this film right here it's kind of like a documentary type style film. It's about this guy. He's from the UK. He's grown up in New York, and he's really sick of all the shit that's going on in New York. He's sick of the fucking people. He's just sick of how everything's kind of developing there and stuff. So he wants to kind of create his own revolution by starting like a crime spree. So he gets his camera crew together, and they just start filming this guy killing off people randomly and stuff. And I don't know, man, this movie really rubbed me the wrong way. I just really fucking did not enjoy this at all. I think the best scene in the film is like the very last scene. Not the credits, but like the scene just before the credits. I don't know, man, I got bored with it real quick. It was just repetitive. It was kind of annoying. I wasn't finding it overly funny. But yeah, I don't know. I don't recommend it. I thought it was shit. Next up is Amityville, The New Generation. This one, out of print, usually goes for pretty high prices for some fucking reason, but I found it for $3, so can't go wrong with that. This is an absolutely terrible fucking movie. It's awful. Like a lot of the later Amityville sequels are just really terrible, but this one's really bad. It just has this really odd tone to it. It's shitty. Next up is a film I'm really surprised I didn't have in my collection. It's one of the very few Stephen King adaptations that I just don't own for some reason, and that is 1408. I've seen this movie before. I haven't watched this disc yet, but I thought this was actually kind of a nice one. 2-disc collector's edition. It's got the 2 discs, and it comes with the art cards and stuff, which is kind of cool. I remember actually really digging this film. I remember reading the short story, which is really, really short. I believe only a few pages long. And then the movie being completely different than the story, I think. But yeah, I'm going to have to check that one out again. Next up is a Severin release. This was a Video Nasty that I got for a really good price. I believe this is out of print, actually. But I got it for under 10. I think I paid $8 or $9 for it, which is really good. Or maybe even 7, I can't remember. And that's Cannibal Terror. This one right here, from 1981, it's got some pretty decent gore moments in this stuff. It's not a bad, it kind of is a bad film. It's an odd one. It's a really oddball type film. I don't really know how to describe it, but I don't know, man. If you like these, these Italian, maybe this is Italian. I'm assuming it is. Yeah, even the sleaziest standards of the '80s Euro trash, it remains a film that must be seen to be believed. And it's kind of true though, man. I don't know, man. I'm gonna actually watch this one again. I'm gonna watch it again. So I didn't really know what to think of it the first time I watched it. If I liked it or not. Very, very odd. So next up is a film called Sublime. This was a really kind of interestingly weirdly structured film about this guy that goes in for the surgery and shit like that. And the way it's structured is that he's having this birthday party the night before, goes in for the surgery, and then everything kind of escalates from there. And it keeps flashing back to that night and stuff. It's a really weird film. It's got some pretty interesting scenes and stuff. But by the end, it kind of it's pretty much a psychological type thriller horror film. Pretty interesting though. It was pretty interesting, I have to say. Next up here is another video nasty that I finally knocked off the list of a couple that I fucking needed. I still need a couple more, but this one right here, Cannibal Apocalypse, starring John Saxon. I know John Saxon's even said on record that he's embarrassed that he was in this film. The crazy thing about this movie right here is that the trailer makes it look so fucking good. It makes it look so badass, but this movie really isn't that great. Kind of drags. Not really that great. This movie could have been a lot fucking better, but, it is what it is. I'm glad to have it, though. Part of the video nasty, so Cannibal Apocalypse. What can I say? Next up here from Sub Rosa Studios. And I remember when this movie came out, I remember hearing shit about it, and I can't remember when it came out, like I want to say in the late 90s or something. No, in like copyright 2000. I don't know when it came out. I don't know if that was right, if it came out in the late 2000s or what, but, and that's Bride of Frank. Maybe it is the 2000s, but man, this movie's fucked up, man. This movie is fucking bizarre, about this really quirky character named Frank. He kind of lives in this warehouse and shit, and is like, just does really fucked up shit, and like, it's just got the weirdest tone to this movie, man. I don't know, man. I kind of enjoyed it. I know some people don't really care for this. I can see why you wouldn't care for this movie, but it was intriguing to me. The acting in this film, I couldn't even tell if that's the way the guy really was, or if he was actually acting, or I don't know. But if he was acting that way, holy fuck, that's pretty damn good. But I think the guy was kind of retarded. But anyways, yeah. So the next film here is, I think this is the first horror film from Israel, from the directors of Big Bad Wolves, and that is Rabies. Oh man, this movie's fucking badass, man. Really, really badass. Yeah, I was really happy to find this for super cheap too. Really cool premise about. The film starts out with this girl that she's trapped in this underground kind of bunker thing. Her brother's trying to get her out, can't get her out. So he gets out of this hole, and he kind of gets to the road, and he meets up with these two couples, two guys and two girls. They've pulled over. They're doing whatever the fuck they're doing. And anyways, the guys go with this brother to go find their, his sister and shit like that. Meanwhile, the fucking killer is like taking her away and shit like that. Anyways, these two girls are left at this vehicle. Anyways, the cops come, and the cops start harassing these girls, and everyone kind of separates in the film, and all this bad shit starts happening to them, to each other. They start getting on each other's nerves, and then shit starts going down with each other. And it's just a really interesting premise for a film. You got all these type of characters that are in the central area, but they're not around each other, and just terrible things keep happening to them. Rabies is a really awesome title for the film. Once you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about, but it's really fucking badass, man. Really badass. There's one part in this film that I literally started laughing so hard, and it, at the same time, made me jump, too. It was like, oh, fuck. It's just so good. I loved it. Next up is a film called Feeding the Masses. This is, I believe this is a Richard Griffin film. Earlier Richard Griffin film. I've yet to watch this one. Man, I gotta say that this cover is bad. This is like a really, really bad cover. Just awful. But I love Richard Griffin, man. He's done lots of really cool films. So, anyways, gotta check that shit out. So, Oh, got a dry mouth. Good old beer. Next up is a film that, oh man, I laughed so hard. My buddy David Koning, he was joking around one day and he posted in our group page the cover art for this film and jokingly said, Moods will have this in his next update, or whatever the fuck he said. And honest to God, I had just picked it up like for $1 or something like that. I had to grab it because it just looks so stupid. And that's Blood Surf. This dude is surfing out of like a ginormous fucking crocodile's mouth. I mean, really, come on. This, how can I pass this shit up? But, come on. Love these stupid ass films. Speaking of stupid ass films that I thought was going to be fucking retarded, but turned out to be actually really fucking good. And it is a film. I believe this was actually this is a TV movie actually, but done pretty well. It's called Frankenfish. Now I have to say, I've definitely seen CGI'd stuff that looked 100 times worse. For the time this came out in 2004, they did a pretty good job with the fish. But it wasn't just all. There was actually there was practical fish using this too. But most of like the gore effects, I would say probably 90% of them are all practical effects and stuff, and it actually looked pretty fucking good. They did a good job with this. But interesting storyline. I don't really want to get too much into it because I don't want to really give anything away. But it's got a really cool setting set in the bayou and stuff. And I know it looks and sounds like shit, but this is actually really fun. Give it a shot. I was highly impressed with it. Next up is a 12 creature feature compilation type deal. It's one of these, I believe this is one of these Echo Mill Creek packages here, you know, with the fucking discs in the middle and stuff. 3 flipper discs or something like that. The films that are in here: The Creeping Terror, Horror of the Zombies, The Wasp Woman, Kong Island, Gamera, The Invincible, The Horrors of Spider Island, Land of the Minotaur, The Crater Lake Monster, Horror High, Attack of the Monsters, Snow Beast, and Bride of the Gorilla. Now, the only film in here I watched is The Crater Lake Monster, because that's what I actually grabbed it for. This was only like $3 for this. And I have to say, man, the fucking transfer on Crater Lake Monster was beautiful. It really, really surprised me. I was like, holy shit. I think what it is, I think there's 2 movies per flipper, or each side on the flipper disc, so the quality is actually pretty good on that one anyways. I just couldn't believe the quality. It just blew my fucking mind. So, but Crater Lake Monster, I really enjoyed that film. It's fun. So, I grabbed the DVD of the '98 Godzilla. I kept passing over the Blu-ray. I don't really care to grab the Blu-ray of it because, to be quite frank, I don't think I'm actually going to watch this, but I wanted it for the collection because I pretty much have completed the Godzilla collection that I can find. There's a couple that are out of print that I need to get, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of this movie, to be honest. I think it's really kind of shitty. Just not good, so. Then I had to grab this because, you know, this one's just for my man David. You know, I can't go through an update without having one of these stupid type films in here. Frankenfish, Blood Surf, and then I have to pick up this one because Roger Corman presented it, and it's Dino Croc vs. Super Gator. I don't know what it is about these movies that intrigue me, but I always have to pick these fucking stupid things up. This was really cheap. I only paid $1.50 for it or something in my buddy's shop. So, yeah, whatever. I'll give it a shot. Released by Anchor Bay. Nice. Next up here is another Richard Griffin film. Love picking up his low-budget films. This one actually was really fun. And it's called Creature from the Hillbilly Lagoon. Obviously, you know, a spoof of Creature from the Black Lagoon, about these students that are out at this lake investigating this toxic sludge spill in this lake or whatever, doing tests and shit. Anyways, of course, this stuff is mutated. This person, this hillbilly monster, turns into like a hillbilly monster and starts killing them off one by one. I gotta say, man, it was fun as hell, man. I had a blast with this film. It's not to be taken seriously, but it was fun. It was fun. I like the creature. It's just a dude in a suit, pretty much, but they show a lot of them, and I don't know, it was fun, man. Titties and stuff. How can you go wrong? Really, actually, nice addition. You know, it's rare that you see. I think this was released by Shockorama Cinema, but got the clear case, got the art in the middle, or in the back and stuff, and the inside, cool stuff. Next up here from Scorpion is finally re-released. I know the Shriek Show edition's been out of print forever, and that's Grizzly. And man, I just rewatching this film just made me realize how much I love this movie. It's fucking fantastic. I love the fact that the grizzly's supposed to be like 17 and a half feet in it. It fucking makes me laugh. And there's scenes that are so obvious that it's just not that big. But yeah, it's about a killer grizzly bear. Like, how could you go wrong with that shit? Really great stuff. The 70s did these awesome fucking kind of, natural horror films really well, man. Day of the Animals, great film. Grizzlies is fucking awesome. Long Weekend's another fantastic one. But man, the 70s really delivered with these films. Great film. Absolutely loved it. Next up is a Brett Piper film. I love me some Brett Piper. Bought this, as you can see, used, but it's still factory sealed, which is awesome. This was only like $2. Love when that happens. Brett Piper, responsible for some really low budget fun films. But yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out Cyclops. Yeah, low budget. And another Brett Piper film, which is, man, this movie was funny as hell. Just so typical Brett Piper. It's called Bite Me. This shit was funny as hell. Just low budget shit, man. Really, really good. Next up, I grabbed this movie solely because of the most... This title made me laugh. I remember double taking on it. I'm like, I have to grab that. And it's called San Francisco. Released by Image, of course, about this guy that's going around killing people in San Francisco. It's very generic. The funny thing is, it's got Joe Estevez in it, which is Martin Sheen's brother, and he looks and sounds exactly like Martin Sheen. It's fucking hilarious. But it actually had its moments that weren't bad, but it's low budget. It's kind of executed a little slow and a little poorly and stuff, but Joe Estevez is a fucking blast in this film. He's so funny as the detective. Really funny stuff, but yeah. Watch at your own risk. Next up is a film called Ghouls. This one right here was absolute garbage. Fuck, this movie was so bad. Dollar pickup, it is what it is. The dead are waiting. This was real shit. The effects in this were just pissing me off. They were fucking bad. Real bad. I don't recommend anybody check that out because it was a heaping, steaming pile of fucking dog shit. Next up is a film that actually surprised the living shit out of me. I picked it up solely because of the name. I know, David, I do that. And it's called Wedding Slashers. I totally grabbed it because of the title, thinking it's going to be a real run-of-the-mill generic slasher film that I always have to watch because I love slasher films. But this one actually had a pretty interesting storyline, and kind of the twist in it and stuff was pretty cool. Some decent kills. It actually kind of delivered a little bit. It wasn't actually that as bad as I expected it to be, but it's not a great film, but it was definitely worth the watch. Definitely worth the watch. So, next up here, I picked up the Mangler 2, which I needed to complete the Mangler trilogy. I have seen these movies before, and I can't for the life remember. I've got to watch these Mangler films again. I think I said that last update when I grabbed the first one. I just haven't watched it in so long. Escape Before It Rips You Apart. Yeah, from Artiston. Cool stuff. Next up is a film from Korea, South Korea, and it's called The Butcher. Man, this movie was a fucking piece of shit, too. Oh, I was having a hard time watching this. Like, I really love low-budget shit films like this a lot. This one just did not do anything for me. I was getting annoyed by the really terrible dialogue, of course. I understand it was supposed to be kind of like shitty made and stuff, but about making stuff films and whatnot, it just I did not like that movie. It was fucking boring and just shitty. Next up is a Mondo Macabre release. I don't buy many of these because they're really expensive. Never find these for cheap, but this is a fantastic film called Don't Deliver Us from Evil, from the early 70s, 71 or 72 or something like that. Yeah, this was really fucking... It's kind of disturbing, actually, about these two girls, two young coven girls. They basically kind of pledge their allegiance to Satan because they don't want anything to do with their the school that they're in, this religious bullshit and stuff. So they just start fucking around with innocent people, like doing crazy shit to them and stuff. And it kind of escalates too far and something really bad happens and stuff. But this has got a fantastic ending. It's a great film. Really, really fucking great film. Yeah, I loved it, man. Awesome shit. Next up here is the remake of Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. And I've actually never watched this remake. I've seen the original TV film, which I need to actually get a hold of a copy of. But I've never seen this remake, and I picked it up because it was dirt cheap, so I've heard mixed reviews on it and stuff, but I don't know, man. I'm going to give it a shot. Katie Holmes, seriously? I don't know. I will give it a shot one day, though. And last up for this massive update, this update's so fucking big, is a Tartan Agent Extreme film called Spider Force. And this is actually another one I have not watched yet. I believe this is another Korean film. Every time I come across these Tartan Agent Extreme films, I always grab them because why not? Some of them are really good. You know, I like my Asian horror films, so... yeah, I like this title of the film, Spider Force. This sounded cool, but yeah, I don't really know a lot about that one. Sorry, guys, but that is going to do it for this update. Holy shit. That was really, really big. But yeah, I'm glad that that's over because it was just building and building and building. So, yeah, I'll try to come back with one within, the respectable time period of like a month or whatever. Not sure how big it's going to be, but it definitely won't be this size because, I just spent way too much fucking money in this last month and a half. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it. Remember to subscribe to Danny, DJ Boy 3275, yeah, for that awesome unboxing that he sent to me. The awesome stuff that he sent to me in the first video and whatnot. But anyways, guys, yeah, I will see you later. Leave your comments if you've seen any of the films, and leave comments on the ones I haven't seen. Let me know if they're any good or whatnot and stuff. So, alright guys, peace out.